Hello there, thanks very much for watching this series of videos. I'm going to put them in a little playlist on my channel so that people can actually keep track of them. This is my third Kingdom Hall confession, and I've been told that maybe it's a bit cruel to do this, a bit mean. Probably is. It's easier too for you Americans. Boy, you've got such a big country, and Canadians. You can slag off somebody that you knew in Ottawa and you're living in Vancouver and you'll never see them, you know. If in America, it's even better. I live in Northern Ireland. I could pick up this phone and hoik it to the nearest sea, and it's really a very small place. Not that many Kingdom Halls, but I will see these people again. So I'm not trying to be mean to them, but you know, I think that the best method of defeating the Jehovah's Witnesses, the cult, is not really to get us out. I'm glad I'm out. Thanks very much for the help of the people who did. But I think the biggest savior is the stopping people getting in. So if you're a person who's studying, if you're a person who has a friend who's studying, I want you very much to look on these videos and think to yourself, whoa, these are the people who think they have the answer. These are the people who are telling me. I want you to think, when you hear my stories about elders, and think, because I've got two of those coming up, at least two, I want you to think to yourself, these are the people God chose to rule over me in the Kingdom Hall. Uh-oh, this is not good. So with that in mind, this is why I do it. If you don't like it, sorry. This one's number 3, and it's about Saul. Saul was a pioneer. He came from giddy old London, I believe, and he was come to serve the need as greater as a young guy. He was late teens, very early 20s. Came across as a pioneer, and he was lickety-split made a ministerial servant, because he was just that kind of guy. Now, there was no harm in Saul. He loved playing the guitar. You know, I'm playing like a lefty. He loved playing the guitar. And he was a fairly genuine fella. But what I would say about Saul is he needed his mommy. And when he came over here, he just went wild. Started a rock band with the guy mentioned in the previous video, Rick, and they were pretty good. They played weddings and stuff. I'm very surprised that they were allowed to do it, but you know, he was a pioneer and people tended to give him a break. I was friends with Saul for quite a while, but during the time that I was friends with him, I would say, in fairness to him, he deteriorated. I'm not suggesting at the time that I was very good either, but I was bad in different ways. Saul was drinking more, going out more, less interested in the pioneering, I think. But that was just the way it was. He was a young guy and he was far away from home. Anyway, one day, me, my mum, my dad, my brother, we're all sitting down and we've just enjoyed dinner and we're watching the news. And they're live at a concert. I think the concert is Oasis. And they've got a live reporter on scene, and she's walking around and she's saying to how are you coming? She's doing a vox popping all the people in the queue to get in, and it's at the King's Hall. She says, are you looking forward to going to see Oasis? Oh yes, I can't wait, says the pretty girl. Are you looking forward? Oh yes, comes up the next one. Why are you going? Out of nowhere, this drunken hooligan jumps into the camera and screams as loud as he can, "'Cause they've all got big willies!" Screams his head off. Everyone's horrified. No more so the Jehovah's Witness community of Northern Ireland, because it's Saul. Yes, our dedicated ministerial servant and pioneer is off his head. And he is screaming live on air about another sister apparently wanting to go to the concert because they've all got big willies. After, laughing for, I think, about 3 days, we finally met up with Saul. And Saul was unconsolable. Inconsolable? Unconsolable? Anyway, he was very sad. What can I do? He could see he was going to, he was going to get stripped of everything. He was going to be booted back to England with his tail between his legs. He was going to be miserable and a big failure. And what could he do? Now, at the time, I was really, really fading by this point, and I felt a bit bad for Saul. So I said to Saul, and I remember this conversation very well, I said, Saul, you need to throw yourself on their mercy here, mate, if you want to get away from this. Here, I'm going to close these blinds a wee bit, because, look, that's a bit better now. So I said to Saul, you need to throw yourself on these guys' mercy, because, you're not getting out of this one. What will I do? What will I do? How can I do that, Neil? Oh, well, here's what you do, Saul. Tell them that you've been hanging out with someone maybe bad, that's given you, bad associations, led you down a track that you're ashamed of and you'll never do again. This bad associate is somebody that you're going to stop going near, and that things are going to change in your life from now, and you're going to really rededicate yourself to God. And see how that goes. So, great news. So Saul, he's delighted. He sees that there's wisdom in this approach. He wants to stay a witness, and that's probably the throw yourself on their mercy tactic is the way to go. So he does. Goes to has a little judicial committee, goes before the elders. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I had a bad associate. It was awful. I don't know what to do. And I'm going to stop going near them, and this is going to be awful. And, I'm going to rededicate myself to God. It's all going to be good in the future. So the elders listen. And I think they stripped him of his ministerial servantship. But I think he was still allowed to pioneer. But he was no longer a ministerial servant. But we were all pleased. I was pleased for him. I liked him. I wanted him to do well. I didn't want him to get hurt. And so I was pleased when I heard that this was happening. So the next day I drove up, or even that night, I drove into town to see him, to tell him I was pleased for him. And he lived in like a flat, so he's 3 stories up, or apartment if you're in America. And knock, 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 knock. Window opens, 3 stories high. Hello? Pokes his head out. And I'm like, hi, Saul, how'd it go? Let us up. Hang on a second. Okay. So I wait, because he can buzz us up, but he chooses not to. So he runs down the stairs, opens the door, and says, that worked. Thanks very much for that, Neil. I'd left a guitar at his house, and he said, here's your guitar. And I went, okay, why? And he says, well, I told him that I had a bad associate, and I told him it was you. He closes the door in my face. This prick, this unconscionable dickhead, blamed me on his bad association, even though he was in a rock band and they were all doing, as far as I recall, they were doing significant amounts of things together that were way off Jehovah's Witness radar. But apparently none of that mattered, because it was me, this terrible apostate, that was the bad associate, and I'm the one who got him out of trouble. But anyway, Saul lasted, I think, another 6 months maybe, and then he went off the pioneer role. And then the band broke up. I think there was a Yoko situation. Very sad. And Rick and Saul and the guy Matt. Matt was a sound guy. He got disfellowshipped, and I don't think he came back, but he might have. He had head problems. And that was the end of Saul. But that was the story of how I got myself basically marked as a bad associate in the Kingdom Hall. And let me tell you, that affected me. It wasn't true. I was not the bad associate. I was the good guy who told him how to get out of trouble. I was his get out of jail free card. But in the end, that marking, that stuck with me for a long time. And I don't care now, but I think it's worthwhile. And as I say, this is the reason I make these wee videos. Saul was knocking doors telling people he had the answer. He was telling people that God had given him the solution to your life and all your problems. Just join him, get out on the service. What was Saul like? An absolute fucking head case. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. I actually know far more about Saul than I would tell you in a video, because it would be slanderous. But it's probably all true, but I wouldn't have evidence. So I'm going to hit you with my next one. I'm going to use a euphemism, or not a euphemism, a pseudonym for my next video, because it's just too close to home. And I hope you enjoy that, okay? This one's going to be about elder football, okay? Or elder soccer next. Bye-bye.